Hi. You see this old Hades guide? It was made irrelevant like 2 or 3 patches after I made it. So now I'm making this modernized one, shortened for zoomer attention spans. The old one still has a lot of detail that holds up today, so you should go watch it. Anyways, here we go. This is mostly for conquest in the mid lane, and I'll elaborate on why I play in mid later. Hades likes a couple of things. Power, lifesteal, pen, both percent and flat are both good, but I'd say that percent is more valuable since you become a tank buster when you ult. A bit of CDR to ult spam, health is decent, and if applicable, movement speed makes him borderline overpowered. So I baked some builds that have some of, if not all of these components. As a side note, protections are worthless. Lifesteal are your protections, and you should be killing them before they kill you. 99% of the time, if you want to play it safe, you can go Vampiric Shroud into Uncommon Staff, into 2 green and purple pots with Purification Beads and Horn Shark to start. You're going to build these into Sacrificial Shroud, Warlock Staff, Bancroft's Claw, Spear of Desolation, and Typhon's Fang, and Blink and Purification Beads. The last item can mostly be a flex on whatever's necessary in the moment. Warlock Staff is something that I don't think anybody else does, so I'll explain it a little bit further. Warlock Staff prevents you from getting 2-tapped by characters like Scylla and Rot in the late game, and the extra 500 HP and 10% pin from the fully upgraded staff works wonders for you, making it a viable item to rush. Polynomicon, Divine Ruin, Staff of Mirrodin, and Rod of Tahuti are all also genuinely good to build, but I like Polynomicon the most because when I'm able to build it, which is when there's 3 or 4 squishies on the enemy team, it opens up kill angles you wouldn't have if you had normally built any other item, since Hades is privileged to be one of the best Polynomicon abusers in the game. Divine Ruin will typically make sure that you kill characters that lifesteal or heal through the burst that you do, and this can be slotted in after Spear of Desolation if you need it really badly. Staff of Mirrodin is useful for when you feel like Staff of Mirrodin is useful for when you feel like fights are really extended and extra CDR is needed. AKA, Warriors and Guardians on the enemy team are really good and live through your ult cast, so you need multiple spell rotations to kill them. Rod of Tahuti is good for if tanks are just stacking magical protections and the game feels unplayable for you, and you'll usually be able to delete them if you take the Meteor glyph and they're calling your ult. The CDR glyph will make it seem like your abilities are permanently up whenever you need them, so sometimes I like taking it as well to have fun. The order does matter, because from personal experience, this is the most optimal time to complete these items, especially Spear of Desolation 3rd. Around your 3rd item is when teamfights mid start happening, and when you get kills or assists, your ult CDR is reduced substantially, allowing you to take good fights more often and snowball harder. Spear of Desolation is one of the best 3rd buys in the game. But anyways, my hardest carry build is Doom Orb into full damage. Why? Because movement speed is broken in this game. For example, I'm sure you've seen a dogshit Vulcan abuser full brain dead W key ability spam on you every time you walk up in lane and then just run away like a little bitch the moment you look at him funny. You can afford to do that because you built this item first. So if you buy it too, you can catch him with your dash and murder him, provided that he beats the knockup when you land on top of him. And then the same goes for every other Doom Orb abuser. Not to mention, Doom Orb is broken for roaming since Hades moves really slowly. Doom Orb solves the issue of not being able to catch squishies when they try kiting you, and it makes Blink one-shotting shitters easier too. This is my Antiheal / anti-Cerberus build. If you go full lifesteal in a game that has Cerberus in it, you're throwing because you'll become unkillable around you, so you should build this instead. This build is also kind of applicable to if Aphrodite is in the game at all. So the build goes Tainted Breastplate into Warlock Staff, into Charon's Coin, into Spear of Desolation, into Bancroft's Claw, into whatever you want for your last couple of items. If Aphrodite is in the game, you can swap out Charon's Coin for Bancroft's and build Typhon's Fang somewhere in here, and then you will unironically be the strongest character in the lobby. As a PSA, you should not go Divine Ruin while building Tainted Breastplate because getting double anti-heal is a waste of gold and you'd be better off just getting Rod of Tahuti or something. Do not take this recommendation seriously. This is a meme build. I mean, you can win games with it, but it's not very optimal. If for some reason it's like a tank meta, brawl kind of lobby where you need a million HP or you can't play the game, you should build this. It's also kind of funny to build when you know the enemy won't be able to get the dash to kill you fast enough before you end the game. Blood-Soaked Shroud into Warlock Staff, into Bancroft's Claw, into Curse Weaver, into Typhon's Fang, into Ethereal Staff. You won't be able to one-shot squishies without your ult or damage pots though, so yeah. But on the plus side, you will be legitimately unkillable in team fights. Why are all these builds full damage? Some paste eater says. Because you're trolling if you're building protections on this god. When he peaks harder, build full damage. You're wasting gold building protections. Just kill them before they kill you and don't get hit. It's that simple. If you learn nothing else from this guide, keep in mind that Hades performs best when he's ahead or on par with the enemy. Hades is really bad from behind because if you're getting killed through your ult without the enemy having to burn anything resource-wise, get out, you're worthless and you need to press F6. But you won't press F6 because you're a degenerate Smite player. Anyways, I'm rambling. This is going to break the flow of the video a little bit because I forgot to include it in the original script, but whatever. Hades is privileged to be one of the few mages with basically guaranteed and safe damage with very little setup to get it done. So when enemies don't have dashes or relics up, they cannot juke his damage unless they're movement speed abusing. I'm not going to explain any of his abilities but the ult because I believe that simple practice of this god will allow you to understand how the abilities work by yourself, but the ult has some information that people just forget about or they don't care to read. In the case of an enemy messing up with no beads or dash and your full damage is guaranteed, you should kit dump on them while weaving in auto attacks like so.
The war you have potential. Slain an enemy.
I'm so fucking good. This combo is entirely practical in a real game, and it will explode squishies if they get hit by all of it, and it will chunk tanks, allowing you to get a kill on them too if you so much as have one other damage dealer full hitting them with you. Now, let me note the particular detail of the ult that people don't seem to care about that makes the scenario above possible and consistent. Hades' ult gives a protections debuff, a flat 10% armor debuff at all levels plus 10 flat, scaling to 30 at max rank. On the damage front, this is what makes this god useful and broken and whatever are the slurs you want to throw his way. Because you're dealing true damage guaranteed to squishies when they're caught in this. In the tank, this ability will hurt unless they're like Cthulhu running around with like 50% damage mitigation at all times. This effect isn't just for you, it's for the entire team. So if you so much as have a Poseidon casting a pool in your ult or even a Loki decoy inside it, you will kill someone guaranteed if the enemy cannot leave your ult. Which is why I say that you should ult tanks more often than not the later the game goes, and leave the cleanup of the squishies to your other carries now that the enemy team has no frontline. This detail is what makes me a GM Hades player and most other people dogshit at my god, because they'll get fed building full flat pin and rolling people on the map, get to late game and start doing no damage to tanks while being unable to get to the squishies, and they wonder when they lost when the enemy Giannis and Rama free attack the entire team fight because there's no pressure on them at all, with their front line alive having 325 magical procs because Hades can't fight against that without 30% to 40% penetration. You're gonna one-shot squishies whether you build a flat pin or not, but you are not one-shotting tanks without percent penetration. Ability maxing. This is a thing that's unironically important for the first couple of levels. I said 3-1-2 before, but nope, I sucked back then, and I don't suck right now. What you should do instead is take 3 at level 1, then you go 1, then you upgrade your 3 again, and then you take your 2 at level 4. 2 is not instantly needed unless you're in a fight and you need to quickly fear in order to get one more crucial auto attack in over your opponent. In other words, it's niche. Of course, you max your ult first, then your 3, then your 1, then your 2. So basically, here's how to play the early game, or laning phase. At level 1, you clear jungle camps and you don't die because you're weak as hell. At level 2, you clear the wave and you should not poke the enemy, or else the enemy jungle comes mid and kills you and you lose the game instantly off of this. At level 3, it's the exact same as level 2. At level 4, now you can maybe poke, but you should not full commit. At level 5, you can full commit to a fight and maybe get a double kill if the enemy jungler comes mid because Hades ult is really powerful. From level 6 onwards, and up until you get Polynomicon, if you get it at all, you should play around your ult cooldown because you're not useful at all without it, unless the enemy is severely underleveled and under-itemized. Even if you weave auto attacks in between all your basic abilities, it's basically impossible to one-shot enemies before your full build, or have Polynomicon. How do I know this? I tested it. When you get damage pots, it doesn't matter, and you start hitting stupid numbers like 500 per ult tick and 1000 on your stomp and your dash, but you only get damage pots like 30 or 40 minutes into the game, which makes Polynomicon really valuable because you get to skip that, and you get to one-shot people at 20 minutes into the game. So buy Polynomicon. In the mid to late game, typically, you will be the engaged by blinking into the entire enemy team, and you'll either get your victory condition, which is either killing the entire enemy team, or burning all their relics and cooldowns and guaranteeing a fight win for your team, or dying instantly and so losing the game for your entire team. How you'll play the game from this point on is that you force team fights anytime your ult is up, and you concede objectives when it's down. You can play skirmishes by poking caught targets and letting your team kill them when they're CC'd if you have Spear of Desolation, but this is risky and you should never full commit unless a kill is completely guaranteed when your ult is down. If you have damage pots, you lurk in the enemy's jungle and look to insta-kill a carry with your basic abilities to get a pick for free and win the game off of that alone. When you have full damage pots, you're unironically one of the strongest gods in the game because you shit on 99% of the gods in Smite in a 1v1 and you'll insta-kill enemies without even seeing them with your sheer amount of AoE, tank or not. But if you're at this point in the game, you can get deleted just as quickly, so you have to play perfect. Just careful enough to not die without getting valuable picks, but just risky enough to make ballsy plays to win you the game. So why play a mid? Oh yeah, that question at the beginning of the video, yeah. So I think viable roles for Hades are ADC, mid, jungle, and solo. ADC is good because you can 1v1 all hunters at all stages of the game, or at the bare minimum go neutral with them, because it's on your terms to engage with them. Mid is his best role in my opinion because it's the easiest role to carry from, and I like to play Hades like he's a hyper carry, and all these other dog shit mid laners steal my fucking role and beat their asses off or don't do anything. It's not that hard to play mid, man. Jungle is good because I saw Auto Speed steal my Hades once, and then he was just Thanos in the lobby, and like I couldn't kill him, nobody on my team could kill him, and he just scaled for free and won the game solo. So yeah, it's viable. And then solo is dog shit to me because it's not that you won't win, but because if you fall behind, the laning phase is just incredibly boring and miserable. Because warriors are atrocities of game design when you're trying to 1v1 them on this god. And they all rush Pestilence first item if they're real human beings, and then they stat check you until you're like 4 items deep, and you outscale them, and then they become worthless. Solo is not supposed to be a volatile lane, and the player tier should typically grow strong by just playing neutral and not doing crazy shit to take the jungler's attention off of like a mid or duo lane, since these roles are much more impactful. But most people play Hades solo anyways and find victory with it. I did too years ago, but I hate it now after jungle, lane, and item changes and shit. So if you want a Hades solo guide, you should probably make it yourself, because I don't know how to play that role anymore. With all that being said, I think this is the end of my Hades guide because I don't have anything else to say. If you have questions about, like, let's say, builds or playstyles, I go way more in depth in my video from like a couple years ago. So I really insist that you should go watch it. I hate endings, but I don't know how to properly end this. So just bye-bye, I guess. See you later.